All right, guys, what is up? This is Miss Doyle coming to you with Child Development Part 2. So, today we're going to be focusing on parenting styles, child abuse, and social development. Okay, all three of these are going to ultimately determine who you are going to be as an adult. And just like with any notes, we are going to have a guided note taking sheet. So, using this educational clip, hint, the one you're watching about child development, complete the chart below, or it's really a Google Doc. Define the terms, answer the questions, record facts from other sources, such as educational clips. There are two of them embedded within this document that you're going to watch and record about. So, what you're going to see is terms bolded and underlined. Those are specifically in the PowerPoint. Those that are not bolded and underlined are almost like your personal opinion or may also relate to the terms above. You're going to scroll down and you're going to see where it says use the educational clip. If you just hover over that blue spot right there, you're going to click on it and you're going to watch that video. And notice how I have it read, define, and answer the questions. So you would define right here, which would be in this video, and you would answer questions pertaining to the oral stage, the anal stage, the phallic stage, so on and so forth. Okay, you're going to learn about three different people: Hans, Ernst, and Ida. And then you're going to go to the second one, which is describing Erickson's stages of development. And it's about Disney Pixar movies. So you're going to come out here and write if this is stage one, blah, 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 or stage three, initiative versus guilt. Make sure you put the stage as well as what it specifically is talking about. And then you're going to answer this question, and that's the end of notes. And we're going to go pretty quick today. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, like I said, we're going to learn different parenting styles based on the way that our parents taught us determines a lot about who we become. If we were ever abused as a child, okay, that also impacts us, and our social development with one another, and what also all these tie into parenting styles. So the three parenting styles were made by Diana Baumrind. Okay, this is a picture of her. And I want you to take a moment and reflect on what style of parenting happens in your home. Okay, if we were in class, I'd ask you to share if you felt comfortable, but we're just going to talk about them because this is a video. So the first one is authoritarian. My way or the highway. Parents are the bosses, and it's almost like a dictator style. There is no input from the child at all. You must do this or you must do that. Next is the democratic or authoritative, where children participate in the decision process. Parents retain the right to vote or right to veto plans. So that kid's going to be like, hey, you know what? Do you care if I go out with Sally this weekend? Parents can say yes or no. Yeah, no problem. Just be in by 10. And the Democratic would be like, can we make it 12? And they might just say yes or no. So you're allowed in the decision making. That way it forms you to become a better parent. Last but not least is permissive or laissez-faire. Okay. The children have the final say. What laissez-faire means is you are staying out of something. Okay. So the parents are rarely involved in the children's lives, and the children get the final say. If that child wants to go stay with grandma that weekend, that child goes stays with grandma that weekend. That child wants to go to the trampoline park, that child goes to the trampoline park. If that child cries and whines for a toy, they get that toy, and so on and so forth. So the effects of these parenting styles, okay, what is the most effective, okay? That would be teenagers from a democratic authoritative families are better suited, meaning those people who have a say in their growing up. Okay, they establish limits for themselves. They respond with warmth and love. They have responsibility, and it assumes gradually. They identify with their parents. Parents are positive role models because they offer cooperation and responsibility. So based on that middle authoritative parent, you end up becoming a better person because you're able to handle real adult things when you get older, rather than just giving what you want, or rather than not getting anything at all. So the effects of parenting styles impact who you're going to be in the long run. Okay, including child abuse. Okay, so I want you to think about what you determine as child abuse. Like, think about your own definition. Okay, we obviously know someone is getting abused in some shape or form, but abuse can happen verbally. Okay, it can happen physically. Okay, those are the two forms of child abuse, but it includes physical or mental injury, sexual abuse, negligent treatment, or mistreatment of children under the age of 18 by adults entrusted with their care. And something you need to realize is Guess what? If you are under 18, you're still a child. As much as you guys want to be adults, you're a child. Okay. And if somebody is abusing you, you need to tell an adult as soon as possible. I am a teacher and I will do everything I can to make sure that you're protected, as well as your other teachers. Just reach out if this happens to pertain to you. So when we talk about child abuse, why do adults abuse children? I want you to think about those ideas. Why would adults do this? Did something happen when they were a child? Did something traumatic, impact their way that they would raise children? There are so many things that can lead to an adult abusing a child. And of course, we were in class, we would talk about it, and I don't have the clip because I got this PowerPoint from Coach Stone. So let's talk about the social development. I want you to think about these 5 questions. Okay. First of all, socialization is the process of learning the rules of behavior of the culture within which an individual is born and will live. Okay. What is considered acceptable behavior in society? So think about is what social norms. Okay. Do you think it's normal to go to the bathroom? Do you think it's normal to have AirPods in during individual work? Okay. Or what is considered unacceptable behavior in society? Do you think someone blurting out and yelling randomly, do you think that's acceptable? I want you to think about what is acceptable versus unacceptable. Do you think somebody dressing up for Halloween every day is acceptable? Do you think somebody wearing a little Bo Peep outfit is acceptable or unacceptable? Those are the things I'm trying to get you to think of. Okay. What are the gray areas? What double standards have you figured out regarding rules? For example, is it okay for ladies to wear short shorts? But if men wear short shorts, is that appropriate? Are rules meant to be broken? When you look at rules, do you think, are they meant to be broken? Or do you make exceptions for certain rules? And what are those rules? Are you influenced by a higher power of external consequences? Does that factor into your choices? So if you sneak out at night, what's going to be the consequence? So you choose not to sneak out because you are in fear of that consequence. Go in detail what you're talking about. Okay, and now we're getting into the details of Freud's theory of psychosexual development. So talking about what happens as a kid. So you're going to click that link in your guided note-taking sheet, and you're going to define the 5 stages of this theory, and you're going to answer the questions that follow about Hans, Ernst, and Ida. Okay. So pause the video right now, and you should have been pausing it throughout if I'm going too fast, just so you could get the definitions. In 5 seconds, I'm going to keep moving to the next section. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so let's talk about Freud's theory of psychosexual development. According to Freud, conflict between the parent and child arises due to gratification. The child wants everything right now, and the parent denies it. Okay, so this is developing who you're going to become as a person. Identification. The child adopts to values and principles of the same-sex parent. So you'll notice when we're talking about politics, people will ask, well, what political party is your parent or guardian in? Okay, if they say Democrat, normally the child will align with Democratic ideals or values. It's all based on what you've been exposed to. For example, if your parent or guardian likes country music, you may also like country music. But I want you to understand, may is a huge deal because we're speaking in generalities. We're not speaking with indefinites. Sublimation, redirecting sexual impulses into learning tasks. Now let's talk about the actual stages. So the first stage is the oral stage. It's the birth to 18 months equals preoccupation with the mouth. So they're constantly touching their mouth. Anything that goes near their mouth, they're going to try to suck on. They're going to try to eat, so on and so forth. The anal stage is 1.5 to 3 years. It equals infants' pleasure seeking on functions of waste elimination. So toilet training. So hopefully you watch the video prior to watching this, because all this is going to make more sense because the video breaks it down, even uses images to help you break down all of these stages. In the phallic stage, so 3 to 6 years, is pleasure seeking focused on genitals. Child becomes a rival for affection for parents of the opposite sex. So it might even mean Sally wants to know why she doesn't have a penis, or it might mean John wants to know why he doesn't have genitals of a female, the vaginal area. Then the latency stage is 6 years to puberty, is equal sexual thoughts, prepares for social and intellectual development. And last but not least is the genital stage. Puberty onward equals sexual desires, renewed relationship. So hopefully you watch that video. It really ties all this stuff in together and makes it a better definition. I want you to watch the video, which is why I'm only briefly talking about this. Okay, now let's talk about Erikson's stages of psychosocial development. So this is not focusing on Sigmund Freud's, where sex pretty much drives everything we're doing. Erikson's focusing on our ability to speak with one another and how we develop socially. So in stage 1, early infancy is trust versus mistrust. Is my world predictable and supportive? So you'll see in this stage that kids trust their parent. However, if you'll notice, if a kid gets scared by their parent or guardian, okay, they lose trust with them and they don't know if they're going to scare them again. And you're going to see a video here in a second that's talking about that trust versus mistrust. Or even if they offer them a piece of candy, but then take it away. This is what is starting to develop you as a person. Stage 2 is in 1 to 3 years, an anatomy versus shame and doubt. Can I do things myself, or must I rely on others? So you start seeing it with kids who start eating by themselves, see kids who's going to the bathroom by themselves. Stage 3 is 3 to 6 years, initiative versus guilt. Am I being good or am I being bad? Notice how throughout the year, if you believe in Christmas, kids will be referred to as the naughty or nice list. And this is where it truly starts to impact them. I want to make sure I'm good so I get a reward later on. So, that's ultimately determining, that's an external factor about how you're going to act based on outside influences. So stage 4 is 6 to 12 years. It's industry versus inferiority. Am I successful? Am I worthless? Stage 5, 12 to 18, identity versus role confusion. Who am I? Who do I want to become? Where do I want to be 5 years from now? Stage 6 through 8 is 20 years and older, and they deal with adult issues. So constant, man, I wish I could have done this. I wish I could have done that. So you're going to watch this video, and what it is I want you to read it because it breaks down what each one of these tasks do, and they relate it to Disney Pixar films. So be sure to watch the clip to its entirety. Make sure you're labeling it as stage 3, initiative versus guilt, or stage 1, blah, blah, blah. So on and so forth. So that's how you're labeling it, not just stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want this direct detail right next to each one. Other than that, that's the end of notes. Super excited. Make sure you turn it in when you're finished, and you guys have a fantastic day.